21. The affable boss, Jackie's POV. So are you coming? I asked, hoping for a positive response. Please say yes. She stopped laughing, glanced around at her apartment building, then out at the heavy rain. She hesitated, but I gave her enough time to think, confident that she'd say yes. I watched her face intently, and when her eyes met mine, I blinked, trying to hide my eagerness. I guess I have no choice, she agreed, and I smiled, though I was dancing inside my mind. Yes, yes, yes. Come, I gestured toward my car. We ran to it and climbed inside. The weather outside the car felt almost romantic, with droplets cascading down the glass windows. I started the engine and drove into the garage. Once we were parked, I invited her into my new Indian home. Hey, Jamal? I called out as we entered. It wasn't yet 8, so I assumed he'd be here. Ji, sir, came his response from the kitchen, and moments later he appeared. Are Lavanya Didi. He greeted her with an innocent grin when he saw her standing beside me. He knows her? Kaisa ho, Jamal? I guess she greeted him back in Hindi. You two know each other? I asked, glancing from one to the other. I told you, I know him already. He's been working here in this community since last year, she explained to me. Oh, yeah, right. I serve you food, sir? Jamal asked, glancing at me. No, not right now. Just bring 2 towels, I instructed him. Yes, sir. He nodded and went off to fetch them. That's when I felt a pair of big eyes staring at me with curiosity. I turned to my left to meet her gaze. What? I asked, focusing on her. Nothing, she replied, hiding something behind her smile. Was she staring at me? I continued to study her with the same eager expression, and eventually she spoke. You understood his broken accent. That was quite, unexpected, she confessed. That's it? Why not? It's my mother tongue. When I speak with my own broken Hindi accent, don't you understand me? It's the same thing, I explained, and she nodded in agreement. This really is a beautiful house. I've never seen it from the inside, she commented, admiring the living room as she took small steps. Why? Haven't you ever come here when my father visited India? I asked. No, sir. Last year I finished my MBA and joined D. Dawson. I never met your father. I have only heard about him and seen him in photos, she answered honestly. How young she is. How old are you? I narrowed my eyes, trying to guess her age. Excuse me. She turned her head toward me as if I'd asked something completely inappropriate. Did I ask something wrong? I guess I just asked your age, I clarified, repeating my question. You can't just ask a girl's age, she scolded me. What? And why is that? Because a guy isn't supposed to ask a girl's age. It's considered indecent in Indian society, she informed me. What the hell? Then how am I supposed to know how young or old you are? I asked, genuinely curious. That's exactly what you're not supposed to know, she said, raising both eyebrows. What kind of rule is that? And who on earth makes these rules? Why? I don't get it, I asked, still confused. I don't know, we Indian women always try to stay young, so we don't reveal our real age, and no one dares to ask, she explained, a cute sense of pride in her voice, as she lifted her chin slightly. I couldn't help but sneer. She's so cute, isn't she? My inner voice sighed appreciatively. Yes, she is, but you shut up. You know, I can still find that out, right? I teased, and her eyes widened in surprise. How? She asked, clearly taken aback. From your employee profile details, of course, I hinted casually, and her jaw dropped. I grinned, feeling pretty clever. I know, I'm smart. Sir, towels, Jamal called, holding out a pair of towels. I took both, thanked him, and turned back to her. Here, dry yourself off, I offered, handing her one of the towels. Thank you. She pursed her lips as she accepted it. We both began wiping the raindrops from our hair and bodies. As I watched her rub the towel through her damp hair, I was reminded of the day she stood on the balcony, hair wet, wearing a bathrobe. She looked so fresh, like a newly bloomed flower, but now she looked sizzling hot, like a fire dancing in the night. She's looking delicious, isn't she? My inner voice was making me lose focus. Please stop. I quickly shook my head to snap myself out of it, realizing I'd been staring. I'll be right back. Do you want anything? I asked, hurrying up the stairs. No, thank you, she replied, shaking her head politely. I went to my bedroom, took a quick shower, and changed into a gray t-shirt and navy blue track pants. When I came downstairs, I saw her sitting on the couch, drinking a glass of water, while Jamal stood nearby holding a tray. "Jamal, we're hungry. Serve the dinner," I ordered as I approached. "Gee, sir." He nodded and headed for the kitchen. "Ha! Gee!" I laughed, looking back at her. "What?" She gave me a confused smile. "Gee," I repeated, pulling a chair out from the dining table and motioning for her to sit. "Oh yes, gee. What did you mean by that when you mentioned it earlier today?" she asked. "You didn't get that?" I raised an eyebrow and smirked at her, but she shook her head. I giggled. "Don't you remember? You said gee in surprise when I asked you to share your lunch. I asked you what it meant, but you didn't say anything," I reminded her, and she made an O shape with her mouth. I continued. "Coincidentally, Bahram said the same word today, so I asked him what gee meant. He explained it in a very theatrical way." I laughed, recalling Bahram's dramatic gestures. "Oh, you meant gee." She sighed in exasperation. "I thought it was something related to the letter G. I wasted half my day thinking about that letter." She stood up from the couch and walked toward me. "So it isn't spelled as the letter G?" I asked, confirming, and she sat down in the chair. "No, it's J-E-E in phonetics," she answered. I pulled another chair from the other side of the table. "Oh, okay, G," I repeated, and her cheeks turned red. "Is she blushing? Why is she blushing?" "What?" I asked, my tone lower as I blushed too. "Shit, why am I blushing now?" "Maybe because a pretty girl is blushing in front of you," my inner voice teased. "Huh? No, nothing," she said, avoiding my gaze. "Tell me," I pressed, eager to know. After a long pause, she spoke again. "Please don't address anyone with G. It doesn't suit you," she advised. "Doesn't suit me? Why?" I asked, my curiosity piqued. "Because only—" She hesitated, looking at me. I frowned, waiting for her to continue. "I mean, men don't generally address girls using G. They do it when—" She trailed off, leaving me to wonder. "Sir, salad," Jamal's voice interrupted us. "Perfect timing. Yeah, just put everything on the table. We'll serve ourselves. And it's already 8 p.m. Aren't you going home tonight?" I asked, glancing at the clock on the wall. Jamal nodded. "Going. Good night, sir. Good night, Dee," he said, then left.
Lavanya's POV. I'll be right back. Do you want anything?" he asked while heading upstairs. "No, thank you." I smiled and shook my head, watching him hurry up the stairs. A few minutes later, "Didi pani?" Jamal asked, offering me a tray with a glass of water. Suddenly, I felt incredibly thirsty. "Thank you, Jamal." I smiled and took the glass from him. I started drinking when I heard Mr. Dawson giving an order to Jamal as he came down the stairs. "Jamal, we're hungry. Serve the dinner." He was wearing a grey t-shirt that complemented his well-built body. The fabric clung to his skin, showing off his toned muscles, and the navy blue track pants, though loose, revealed his well-shaped hips. This man could easily be a Bollywood hero or the perfect James Bond in Hollywood. "Gee, sir," Jamal nodded and went to the kitchen. "Ha! Gee," I heard Mr. Dawson laugh. "What?" I asked, smiling and feeling a bit confused. "Gee," he said, pulling a chair out from the dining table and motioning for me to sit. Gee? Oh, yeah, right, I totally forgot about that." "Oh, yes, Ka. What did you mean by that when you mentioned it earlier today?" I asked, suddenly curious. "You didn't get that," he said, narrowing his eyebrows. "Don't ask." It had been the most difficult puzzle of my life. I shook my head, signaling no. He giggled. "Don't you remember? You said G in surprise when I asked you to share your lunch. I asked you what it meant, but you didn't say anything." He reminded me of the events from his office, and I realized. "Oh," he continued, "coincidentally, Balram said the same word today. So curiosity got the best of me, and I asked him what G meant. He explained it in a very theatrical way. He started laughing, shaking his head. So it was actually G, not G. My stupid brain. Oh, you meant G? I sighed, feeling exasperated. I thought it had something to do with the letter G. I wasted half my day thinking about that letter. I stood up from the sofa and walked toward the dining table to take the seat he was offering. So it's not spelled like the letter G? He asked from behind me. No, it's Jee in phonetics, I explained, settling into the chair as he sat in another. Okay, G, he repeated, nodding at me. Suddenly, that phrase made me feel self-conscious. Oh my god, chill out. He didn't mean anything by it. He doesn't even know about that, my inner voice whispered. I kept my eyes on his face, realizing I'd never truly looked at it before. He was incredibly handsome. His perfectly chiseled features, high cheekbones, sharp jawline, and light rosy lips were breathtaking. From where I sat, he looked like a Greek god. His cyan blue eyes were like an entirely different universe, pulling you in and making it impossible to escape. My shyness must have shown as he asked in a husky tone, "What?" I noticed fresh color rising to his cheeks. His pale American skin couldn't hide his blush. Why is he blushing? Does he read minds? Huh? No, nothing, I stammered, blinking rapidly and avoiding his gaze. That subject was off limits now. Tell me, he pressed, and I couldn't ignore the eager look on his face as if he was dying to hear what I had to say. What do I tell him now? Should I tell him the truth? No. Yes. Maybe. Please don't address anyone with G. It doesn't suit you. Yes, that sounds better. Why? Oh no, he wants to know more. He's not going to let this go, is he? Curious American monster. Because only? I paused, struggling to find the right words to ease the awkwardness. I saw him frowning with curiosity, so I continued. I mean, men don't usually address women using G. They do it when... I trailed off, feeling the pressure of his intense gaze. This is too much. Your expectant eyes are killing me, Mr. Dawson. Don't do this to me. Sir, salad. Jamal's voice broke through, clearing the air. The moment of tension lifted and we returned to the present. Thank God, I exhaled deeply. Yeah, just put everything on the table. We'll serve ourselves. And it's already 8 p.m. Aren't you going home tonight? Mr. Dawson asked, glancing at the wall clock. Jamal nodded with a smile. Mr. Dawson is really caring and responsible. Going good night, sir. Good night, Didi, Jamal said, looking at both of us. We smiled back at him as he left. So, I heard Mr. Dawson speak again. What were you saying about men addressing women with G? He asked. My eyes widened and my smile faded. Silence. Oh God, here we go again. Continue, Miss Lavanya, he urged. I looked at him, unsure of how to proceed. Why am I nervous? I'm not saying anything inappropriate, am I? But he is my boss. Talking to him about anything personal feels weird. But he's waiting. You have to answer, my inner voice urged. Answer, Lavanya. Answer now. A man uses the word when he is married to that particular woman, I said quickly, squeezing my eyes shut. Silence. Did he hear me? Why isn't he saying anything? Please don't make me repeat this, Mr. Dawson. I can't discuss such awkward things with my boss. Your boss's boss, my inner voice corrected. Yeah, that's what I meant. Well, does that even matter right now? The real question is, why is he not saying anything? Did he faint? Oh no. I cautiously opened my eyes to see what had happened. When I did, I found him staring at me intensely. His lips were slightly curved to one side, and his cyan blue eyes seemed to overflow with unspoken emotions. I slowly swallowed and quickly looked away.
Jackie's POV. A man uses the word when he is married to that particular woman, she said quickly, squeezing her eyes shut. And everything paused for a moment. I could only hear her heartbeat, pounding loudly in the silence, matching the rhythm of mine. It felt as though both our hearts were composing a romantic melody. She hadn't said anything overtly alluring, but the way she spoke made me feel completely restless. She looked as beautiful as the first time I saw her. Her eyes squeezed shut, her rosy lips, her flawless skin, everything about her seemed impossibly perfect. I couldn't tear my eyes away from her as she sat across from me. Since her eyes were closed, I started missing those big, beautiful eyes, but I felt I could stare at her beauty as much as I wanted, since she wasn't looking at me. Gosh, this girl is driving me insane. I took my time to look at her, and it felt like an eternity. After what felt like forever, she slowly opened her eyes and looked at me. I didn't know what she was focusing on, but those eyes were pulling me in. Damn, I was missing those eyes. She quickly shifted her gaze, and I finally blinked. A deep silence fell between us, but it felt oddly delightful. What just happened? Ahem. I cleared my throat, trying to shake off the intensity of the moment. Jamal has cooked Indian food today, I think, I said, attempting to steer our focus elsewhere. She glanced at the bowls on the table, then stood up and began serving both of our plates, catching me off guard once again. I watched her in awe as she worked, and when she finished, she sat back down. Thank you. I don't know what this is, but it looks delicious, I said, hiding my nervousness. This is dal, boiled lentils. This is roti, or chapati. This is palak paneer, cottage cheese and spinach curry. And this is kheer, rice boiled in milk, a sweet dish, she explained, pointing to each item on my plate with her index finger. Wow, was all I could say after hearing her sweet voice. She glanced up at me, and then, blinking rapidly, focused back on her plate. Shall we eat, sir? She asked politely, and I nodded with a smile. Yes, please. The way she ate without using a spoon was fascinating. I decided to try it for myself, mimicking her every move. I knew she noticed that I was following her lead, and she rewarded me with small smiles after each bite. The food was delicious, and we both ate more than we probably should have. Jamal truly was an excellent cook. By the time I finished the sweet dish, I was completely full. God, this food is amazing, but so heavy, I muttered to myself, and she giggled. Her giggle sounded like a soft melody, like the chime of a tiny wind chime, adding a delightful rhythm to the moment. This dinner is too light, she declared, and I laughed. Light? Seriously? I shook my head in disbelief, rubbing my stomach. Yes, we have it every night, she said. You can cook all of this? I asked, pointing to my plate with my finger as I finished the last bite of the dessert. Yes, of course. I'm very familiar with all the Indian spices, curries, vegetables, and even non-vegetarian dishes, she said. Spices? Like the yellow stuff you put in every dish? I teased, raising an eyebrow. That's turmeric powder. It has many medicinal benefits. It's antiseptic and helps kill germs, and yes, we use it in almost every curry, she explained with a proud smile. And also on shirts, I quipped, and her smile faded. Just kidding, I giggled. She weakly smiled back, and after we finished dinner, she helped me store the leftovers in the fridge. Mr. Dawson? She called my name in a soothing tone from behind while she leaned against one of the kitchen counters as I was grabbing an apple from the fridge. I turned to look at her. Yes? I gave her my full attention. Sorry, I asked, confused, unable to recall anything I had done. For the shirt, she said, her gaze dropping to the floor. I closed the refrigerator door and slowly walked toward her. Apple. I offered the fruit when I reached her. She shook her head. Thank you. I moved a little closer. So now we were just inches apart, and she leaned more against the kitchen counter. You know what, love? I said, my voice dropping to a softer, more intimate tone. When I return to California, I think I'll miss being here. So for me, that shirt will be a cherished memory of yours. Something I'll treasure like a pearl found in the depths of the ocean. I locked eyes with her as I spoke, my voice smooth and seductive. She opened her mouth as if to say something, but no words came out. Wow, that sounded like something from a Shakespearean play, when Romeo was speaking to Juliet. And the irony, I'm not even a fan of classic romantic novels. What is happening to me? Why did I say that and in such a way? What is this feeling? Looks like your life is turning into a very romantic love story, Mr. Jackie Dawson, my inner voice teased. I huffed in disbelief.